Richard Smith, representing Suffolk County Council. It's been a good event. I think we've been talked to more than us talking to you, but never mind. The one question I specifically want to ask is, in one of the breakout sessions, we heard for the very first time about some possible new timelines for the Magnox plant decommissioning. I was not happy with what I heard, but I'll leave it there for the moment. What I heard, how confidential is that? Am I allowed to share that more widely, or is it still on the drawing board and fairly confidential to the NDA? I'd like to know so I don't make a bigger mess of things than I might otherwise.
Well, I think nothing that's what Simon said earlier in the two sessions, and actually not all of you were in the sessions, you couldn't be, but they were very, the sessions, people had strong views in the sessions, and we ran out of time in both sessions. What Simon says is in the public domain, Richard. But I think what you have to remember, what he did say, he was sharing those very early thoughts, right, as they develop the more detailed business case. So it's at a very early stage. And I think we sometimes get hung for not telling stakeholders in the community enough. And then when we come early and share sort of very early thoughts, stakeholders say, but you've made up your mind. And this was an example today of literally sharing those early thoughts. And so I think the only caveat I would say, yes, in the public domain, but it's not a decision. It's very early thoughts as we develop a business case. And I had a quick chat with Simon Bowen, who made the presentations to you at the breakout session. And Simon's very keen, and we in the comms team with Paul, we'll be working with Simon and his colleagues to develop a programme of stakeholder engagement around that, both with local authorities and clearly with the site stakeholder groups involved in the Magnox area. So there's a lot more engagement to go through before we get to any kind of final position. It was early days, Richard, if that helps. Then here, there's Penny here.
Just going back to the timelines, I think it'd be very helpful if state SSGs could have an idea of when we can start talking about it. If we start talking too early, it goes off the boil. We need, as SSGs, to be able to say to our community, we're going to be discussing this in 3 months' time, 6 months' time. And I urge you to give us some clarification about when we can have sensible discussions without causing chaos.
Well, that's very, very sage advice, Penny. Thank you. Trudy wants to say something here. Oh, you're wired up, so you're mic'd up, and you can speak.
Okay. I was just going to mention there's been a couple of comments that it's disappointing that we don't have a government minister here. And I think I'm the only member of parliament here, so I feel it's my duty to say that there is a nuclear all-party parliamentary group which Sue Hayman, my neighbouring MP, chairs, and I vice chair. So I would just ask if you did have any questions that you would like us to put to government ministers, concerns, suggestions, whatever that may be, I would be delighted to take those forward for you. Very easy, trudy.harrison.mp@parliament.uk. Please forward those and I'll take them up on your behalf.
Yeah, there's a very good offer. Can I say we did invite the minister, and he's out of the country at the moment, I think. So that he just couldn't make it. And so we're hopeful, fingers crossed, next time we will get a minister. Perhaps with Trudy's help, we might get a minister. So we are keen to do that. Thank you.
Marianne Fellows, Sizewell Stakeholder Group. I'm always glad to have the opportunity to listen and hear more and to provide comments. So these 2 days have been very valuable. Thank you. With regard to the breakout session on the Magnox decommissioning plans, it was told to us as something that would be taken to government in March. So it wasn't said, this is in early days, we might do this. It was said we will be taking this business plan in March. The actual sequencing as to which site goes in which year, yes, that was told that that still had to be worked upon. But the principle of accelerated decommissioning is something I'm going to take away, that is the direction of travel that Magnox is wanting to put forward.
Thank you. Yeah, I can assure you that we're looking at getting SSG chairs together in the next, utilising an opportunity in London in the next month, and we're looking at speaking to local government before Christmas. So we are actively seeking that further engagement, Marianne. Was there anybody else? It's difficult to see in the slide.
Can I just ask a general question? I don't need a mic, but quite a low voice. Is there any way we can have access to some of these PowerPoints? Because we've heard lots of really good information. But
Yeah.
it's been obviously like a whistle top tour. Is there any way we can have access to these so we can take them away and
Yeah.
more detail?
Somebody else asked me that earlier this morning, actually, and I think we'll make that happen. I mean, there's going to be in the next few days, you're all going to get a little survey form to provide you, so you can give us some feedback, and we'll work with our contractor to get a slide pack to you. So hopefully you'll get a slide pack and a little survey form as well to feed back to. So there's a quid pro quo there. Okay, we'll give you the slides, give us the feedback. That'll be great. Oh yeah, sorry.
Just on that last point, a number of us expected to find a delegate list for the 2 days, and I would like to receive one of those, please.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'll put it in the pack. That's not a problem. Anybody else? There. David, you're going to say thank you.
Thank you. Peter Anley from CH2M. Just going back to the government point again, I've just recently spent 12 months working in Bays with the industrial strategy team, and working alongside Craig Lester and Juliet Long, who've both spoken over these last 2 days. They've both made reference to the industrial strategy, and late last year the Secretary of State announced that nuclear was going to be one of 5 sectors that was going to be offered a sector deal. And those sector deals the mature sector deals are hoping to be announced by government as approved by number 10 this autumn. So the sector deal for nuclear will comprise of about 4 or 5 proposals, one of those being waste management and decommissioning. So the proposal has got to be well developed, which is being led by Lord Hutton, John Hutton from the NIA, with industry partners, including the NDA and others that are joining a team to input into that proposal. So, you know, from my perspective, it's really important that the voice of industry is in that proposal that's put forward to number 10 through Richard Harrington this autumn. So really the question to the panel is, you know, this sector deal, what would the panel like to see in this sector deal proposal for decommissioning, and how are they going to get their voice heard into that proposal?
Good question. I think Trudy, you're on again as the local MP, but the Northern Powerhouse, you raised it.
I wish I was the Minister for the Northern Powerhouse. Well, really it's about feeding that information in. There is a consultation underway at the moment on the nuclear sector deal, and I'm not sure. I know that many of the businesses in my patch have fed into that because they've copied me into their responses. So I would really urge you all to get in touch with your respective MP, you know, where you're operating, and make sure that they understand what you're proposing. And similarly, your Chamber of Commerce or whatever equivalent that you've got representing businesses in your areas.
Thank you. Right, I think we're just about up for time. So what I'm just going to do now is ask David Peaty to just to close. Thank you, David.
Is mic on? Great. Look, I just want to say a massive thanks on behalf of me personally, my team and the NDA for your attendance over the last day or two. It's been a fantastic experience for me, a great learning, a real opportunity to listen to all the issues that we face. And I was left with 2 thoughts, really. The firstly is the passion with which all of you hold for your communities, for the challenges that we face, no more eloquently portrayed than from Trudy this morning. And it came across so strongly yesterday and today. So I've been delighted to hear that, because it really does inspire me to do the absolute best job I can for all of us, not just for the UK, for the taxpayer, for the communities and the team of the NDA, but literally for all of us. We are, and this is the second and final thing that struck me, this sense of community. Not just local communities, but this sense of a nuclear community. And it really is up to us working together. And I would finally plead we have much more in common together than we do that separates us. And I think if we can work together, we can really, really take the UK's nuclear industry and sector to a great new future. So thanks again. I hope you have a very safe journey home, wherever you're going to, and I very much look forward to engaging with you over the coming weeks and months. Thank you very much.